Hey Ravi, good
Hi,
morning.
hi Hari. Thanks for arranging this and joining. Good morning.
Thanks again for hosting. I know we have been discussing about this topic and working together for some time now, and excited to share what we have been discussing and also talking to the audience and customers on where we see the exciting opportunity ahead in this whole wave of new technology changes that are coming up. So, what we could do, Ravi, is we can start with a quick intro about our journey. And as we were discussing, there are some very interesting scenarios and insights you have been looking into the business. We would like to go over that and maybe show a quick demo and also see how we can work together with some of our partners.
Giant
So,
customers, of course.
yeah,
Yep.
awesome. So, maybe for the members, as a quick introduction, I have been working with Ravi for a long time. So we used to work at Microsoft, started our journey, worked in the Azure team, building out the core platform capabilities. And both of us forked onto our own startup journeys. But throughout the process, we have been working very closely with the ecosystem of Azure customers, partners, product teams who are there. Before starting my current startup, I was at Microsoft, leading the OpenAI effort at Microsoft, helping ship the first version of Copilot, and then in Dhisana, again, we are continuing the journey of seeing how this whole way of AI innovations and agents are going to help business. And I have been working closely with Ravi on some very interesting scenarios across both agents and Azure. Maybe Ravi you can have a quick intro and we can also go over what
Sure.
problems you are seeing.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ravi, CEO and founder of Cloud Asset. Like Hari mentioned, we started building the very early stages of Microsoft Cloud Services, caching, access control, service bus, now app service, and so on. And we, I came out in 2014 and started Cloud Asset and started helping a lot of Microsoft partners, CSPs and MSPs, modernize the or cloudify the data center. So we built a really sophisticated ERP-like system called Hybr that helps customers across the globe for MSPs and CSP scenarios. And what Dhisana and Hari brings to the table is very relevant for all our customers. So I'm super excited about this scenario that we can lighten up for our customers and indeed to their end customers as well, Hari. So
Yes.
let's proceed with the next.
Yeah. One of the main things I know we have been discussing quite a bit, Ravi, is you have seen the first hand struggle of some of these businesses which are low margin and trying to scale and keeping up with technology, right? Would love to hear about what you have seen in the industry. Where are the struggles where you see the CSPs, MSPs scale their business?
Sure. As I said, we have been working with MSPs and CSPs. CSPs are basically Microsoft partners who resell Microsoft cloud products along with providing services to the end customers and businesses, right? So over this last decade, we have seen MSP and CSP businesses going through various phases and whatnot. But there are certain constant challenges that these businesses face, right? Uh, Especially when you are selling multiple vendors, multi-cloud softwares to the customers, there is always a catch-up needed by the sellers, the account managers, because if not every month, every week, there are new services and software that comes out from Microsoft, Amazon, or Google, right? It's really hard for, this is what I hear, when I was talking to one of a customer in a few weeks back. Even today, keeping up with the Microsoft updates is a really big challenge, and most of the times they're unable to do. And because of that, the sellers, the account managers, the first line, people who talk to these customers, they do not know, they're not aware of what are those new services that they could potentially, offer to their customers. They are in a blind spot. And many of these MSP CSP businesses still today, how they operate is they stitch together 10 different tools, right?
Mm.
There is a HubSpot CRM, there is a Zoho Desk or Zendesk, there are like 10 different tools. Some of them, it's very interesting. When I meet these people in these conferences, they're like, some of them are very proud. They say, Ravi, I have you know connected this to that, and by the time I got the list, there were like 10 different tools, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it's all good in terms of a personal satisfaction, but for the business, when you stitch even two, three tools, you're going to miss context, right?
Yes.
Same thing if you are having 10 different teams, you pass on the requirement to 10 different teams, and there is a famous game, right? A team game. So you lose
Mm.
the context in every occasion that you pass on, the context is lost, and more than that, you lose the time as well. And
Mm.
many times these people, they spend time in kind of taking care of the stitching, right? It is
Yes.
not reliable. Data doesn't come from one place to the other place. It's not very seamless. Anyway, so that's the too many disconnected tools, and invariably these things lead to lost opportunities. Forget
Mm.
about lost opportunities. Their opportunities are not even identified because
Mm.
it's humanly, almost in this day and age, humanly impossible to connect all these dots and find out, yes, for this customer I should be promoting this offer. So lost opportunities. And because if you are putting people to this problem, these problems, your margin is going to thin out more, right?
True.
So either you cut short and not do these things, or you actually do the right thing with more people. That is more costly. So
Costlier.
these are the challenges, right? Like low margins, high manual effort, and lost opportunities,
Mm.
constantly keeping yourself updated. So how can we solve this, Hari?
Yes. No, what you're mentioning is very true, right? Like I'll go over and deep dive when we are seeing from other teams and sellers also, basically, right? Where it's not that people don't want to solve this. Till now, the technology was not at a place where either you invest more people to scale and that's costlier, or basically you need to stay in this manual mode where you're stitching together and running operations in way which is not the way people would have preferred, basically, right? So
Right.
that's where I guess this talk is very interesting in terms of how can you reimagine your business, basically, in the new era, which wouldn't have been feasible maybe a couple of years back, and how people can look at businesses and partner with Hybr or Dhisana, basically, to see if they can scale their business without scaling up costs in some ways.
Very true.
So, yeah.
Presenting a unified system where our customers, they don't have to go and manually connect systems, where we are able to present it as a unified system. I think that's the power. Having this first party collaboration between Hybr and Dhisana, this is going to result in the most robust, reliable system for the for our MSP and CSP customers. And we bring in years of experience doing the CSP and MSPs. We have billing, we have provisioning, and I think we'll see a little bit more in detail about Hybr. Like we have a great structure, a self-service, domain-specific portal for the CSP businesses, admins, and then their end users as a self-service. With Dhisana, you bring in really an intelligent kind of a hive mind type of agentic solution, which is going to help kind of 10x the productivity, 10x the growth. That's kind of what we are looking for with this unified system.
Totally agree. Where we are able to bring in the deep domain knowledge of what you have been working with more than a decade now, right? With all the CSPs, MSPs, and the new age technologies that we can help with GTM. I think it's going to be super powerful, right? So, briefly getting into what we do at Disana, basically, right? So, to set the context, what we are building basically is an autonomous sales engine, a growth engine for organizations, right? As we were discussing, how do you scale your business without having to invest a ton in hiring your headcounts, right? How do you make your team itself 10x more productive and scale your revenue pipeline is one of the key things that we have been looking at. So if you see the traditional bow tie model of growth or the pipelines that was there, right? Your challenge across acquisition and expansion, there is so many manual processes and bottlenecks, basically, right? And the selling doesn't stop as soon as you get your first check. It begins there, especially in this business where you have long-standing relationships, renewals going on, you're expanding. You need to make sure a customer is satisfied, and then you go up for upsell, cross-sell, or renewal businesses, basically, right? It's a continuous cycle, and it's very manual as of now across the pipeline, where people are doing a lot of these activities manually. In our
Yeah, I just maximized your video. So since you are talking, I was just switching back, so don't get confused. Keep going.
I was yeah, the slides basically what I was showing was here you will see a lot of times people doing a lot of manual work that is going on, and how do we now look at bringing in all the context together in some ways, right? Like if you look at to close any deal, you will need the complete context about the customer, right? Like what is billing, what's his tickets, what's happening with the lead, what's happening with the account. You need all of
Yeah,
them
yeah,
together.
we were talking about this. Context is, for the lack of the better word, context is the king when it comes to agentic and AI. And we were,
Yes.
looking at the post from Salesforce CTO, CEO, whom we both know, MK.
Yes.
So you mentioned that the context has engine is a must-have for the agentic
Yes,
thing, right?
workflow, right? So across our systems, where you see both Microsoft, Salesforce, etc., right? If you see the systems evolve, you'll see that once you bring in the right kind of information, like what's there in Hybr, what's there in our system in Dhisana, and it has to be the most relevant information. It's not throwing everything at an agent and say, go figure it out, basically, right? It has to be relevant. It should be able to get those right information at right time. So once you have the context, the second one are signals, right? Like when you're working with the customer, there could be a new office they are opening up. There's a new job posting that's coming up, basically, right? So there are signals which help you go and talk to them at the right time, saying that here's a new service that I can help you with grow your business, right? So how do you bring in that signals? The next one is these CSPs, MSPs have deep down expertise, both on the cloud side. How does Azure operate? What's a BCDR? How do you secure the services? But also they have a deep understanding of their customer, be it retail or education or tech, right? So they are at this intersection where their expertise spans technology and domain. And the last thing which they also have is relationships that they have built up over their customers over a period of time, basically, right? So a deal needs to bring all this together to be able to be successful. And the way people used to do this previously used to be manual operations, right? Everything from research to signals, identifying opportunities. You have people sitting there looking at everything from CRM to LinkedIn to their billing information to tickets to go figure out what's happening. And you do a lot of manual grunt work. 70% of the time is not spent on actually growing your business or serving customer. It's all clicking on tools and figuring out what's happening, basically, right? That is where this new age technology of what is called as agents or autonomous agents is a
Yeah, I
very
think
interesting
at this
thing.
point, I like to highlight that
Mm.
the way we got reconnected is basically we were trying to use Dhisana as for our own sales automation, and we started utilizing Dhisana for our own sales automation, and that's what led us to, if it is useful to us, this is going to be a tremendously useful scenario for our Hybr customers as well, because they're all doing the same steps, like researching, going and finding the leads, what are the businesses that they can target, the entire lead funnel, nurturing them, looking for signals, like buying signals and whatnot. Anyway, and it has been super powerful for us for cloud asset and hybrid. So that's how we kind of thought, okay, this will be a great thing for our end customers as well. So go ahead.
No, perfect. No, the thing that we are seeing is this technology trend that is coming up, where traditionally systems used to be rigid rule-based workflows or system of records, basically, right?
Right.
Now we have started seeing the technology, especially with these large language models. They're able to reason like humans. They're able to
Mm.
think. They're able to take actions on behalf of you, basically. Right?
Okay,
Say,
that's a good point, Hari, because even now,
mm,
when people think about the agent or agentic workflows, maybe it's because of that workflow connotation. We still think it is just executing series of steps. But what you are saying is, no, 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 it's not just a some bot executing series of steps. It is much, much more than that. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for in a layman terms, Hari?
no, that's a very important distinction, right? And it's very important to get that, right? So when we were early, if you remember in our stages with service bus and workflow and all, it's not that
Yep.
workflows were not there. You could drag drop into a low code designer and say, go fetch a record from a CRM, update these properties, basically, right?
Right.
But the moment your business requirement changes, that workflow is broken. It was not a reasoning machine; it is a rule based machine. Go do one, two, three, four, basically, right?
Right.
Then when I started with OpenAI and Copilot 2018-19, right, very initial versions, basically,
Right.
it was a tech that could help you generate interesting fragment of code or interesting fragment of text, basically. Right? Again, it was not a model for reasoning, but you can say, okay, generate an image for me, generate some text for me, right? But slowly, what started happening is these models now, when you actually give them some set of information and say, tell this, is this an interesting opportunity for me? Score this lead
So
for me, right?
basically, what you are saying is, I don't have to give a set of rules. I just give kind of a overall instruction,
Yes,
and your agents can intelligently interpret that and change the rules, and come up with the rules, and like a human being would do,
yes,
to in some sense, right?
yes, yes. So
So we are
the
not
thing is,
just tracking drop certain boxes. We
yes,
are basically just giving kind of a how you would do in a chat GBT prompt type of thing.
yes,
Give high level instructions and certain pathways, and then your agent goes and thinks and does the research and builds the context, and then kind of in some sense writes its own rules to satisfy um, your whatever the instruction that I gave. Could I
right.
think like that?
Yeah, so the thing is, these agents look at them as goal oriented versus rule oriented, right? You set
Right,
goals
right,
for them, right? It's like
right,
an agent which is helping you sell, which is maybe an BDR, an SDR, an account executive, right? So how do humans operate? They have a goal. I need to go sell this product. I have a target, right? Then you
right.
create a plan, then go execute against a plan. All the CRMs are just tools for you to help do that operation, right?
True.
So look at them, look at the agents as this goal-oriented set of systems which can come up with, okay, to achieve this goal, I need to go do X, Y, Z, basically, right? And
Makes sense.
we are still in an early stage. I wouldn't say that yes, we are like it's at a place where it's like your best seller, but it can help your best seller become 10x now. There are targeted these agents which can start doing, but they are evolving at a very rapid pace, right?
Rapid space. Yeah.
3 years from
So
now,
that's a very good tagline. Help your best seller become 10x productive.
10x
That's
productive,
kind
right?
of you can keep that as a motto for this slide, I think,
Selling
right?
exactly, right?
Because
So,
it's like we saw before, the challenges that are facing MSPs and the sellers and the account managers. You have to connect 10 different things, man.
yes,
Updates from 10 different vendors. Even Microsoft itself releases at least 10 updates every week, if not every month. So it is really impossible for even your best seller to keep track of all of this and
yes,
be able to connect this five different dots,
yes,
a signal coming
yes,
from one of your important account. Maybe they are looking for some multi-cloud deployment,
yes,
but then they are not keeping you in mind because they only know you as an Azure reseller, right, or
yes,
Microsoft reseller.
yes,
But they, albeit they didn't know, you also can provide AWS or GCP services.
yes,
If you are not looking for that signal, and if your seller doesn't know that
mm,
your company is now ventured into AWS and GCP reselling as well, if
yes,
these dots doesn't connect
yes,
at the right time, then
Yeah.
we are missing that opportunity as well.
Opportunity. No, very true. I've seen that firsthand, right? I used to be in an organization in Azure, which will help sell to very large customers, right? I used to be sitting from the product side in a meeting. Customer will, for example, ask, here's the Kubernetes. I want to use an Azure file system, some XYZ capability. Do you have this, right?
Right.
This seller who is there or the solution architect has expertise in X, maybe Kubernetes, right? But he doesn't know as much about what happens with EFS. He will say, I'll get back, right? It's a 3 months gone, and an opportunity that could have been a pretty large deal ends
Right.
up getting procrastinated so many times, right? It's not that they don't want to do, but humanly, there's only so much I can keep in my mind and map what's
Right.
there, actually, right?
Great.
But that can get solved with these kind of autonomous agents and workflows, which is a very exciting opportunity for businesses and how you can help scale your people, basically, right? So
Makes sense.
we'll talk
So
more about this.
takeaway from this is, this is not just a rule based bot type of thing. This has ability to understand the context, come up with various, like, yeah, this is a great example of connecting different dots. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, Hari. Yeah.
No, no, like we have been discussing about this hive mind kind of a thing,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Right.
So, like individually, people work in silos in email and CRM, and me and you have some context right now. Imagine if you are able to bring in all this information into a single hive mind kind of setup, where all the data that is required is all getting pulled in at one place, basically, and it is able to now identify opportunities, engage customers, basically. Right? How do you build those systems where there is a unified system of intelligence we can build? The next thing that is happening is, as we were discussing, there's a human seller, basically, right? But what if I can equip them with 10 supporting actors who are there? Everybody who's
Mhm.
helping you prospect a lead, to write content, who's an executive assistant who is helping set up follow-ups for a meeting, somebody who's helping you prepare for the meeting, basically, right? So you have one star player, there are some X number of people who are these agents who are supporting him do that much, much more better, basically, right?
Right. I think in
So
today, probably this one star player is doing all of this mostly
himself, yes,
without this help.
yes,
But if you give that help,
yeah.
how much more productive they could be.
Yes, right. Look, imagine you have your blessed batsman or quarterback, right? Now we are asking him to go and spend time doing some filling
Yeah,
some
line
forms
back
and
or yeah, whatever. Yeah,
do something which is very
understand.
random, right? Like it's not the best utilization of your time. So that way you can help them by supporting with these kind of agents, right? So here, maybe just a quick overview of demo, right? Like in Dhisana, what we do is you have a way where the system is continuously looking at leads, pulling, as I said, a high mind system of intelligence, getting everything at one place together, putting in whatever is required for a seller to get ready, and helping build a bunch of these agents, pulling in context from Hybr and every other place, basically, right? So, for different aspects, as you said, making your seller 10x is what we are building, right? So, we'll have some follow ups where we'll go over in detail, but we already have this system which we are building, looking at futuristic sales organizations. How do they operate? We want to be
Makes
the
sense.
platform for any
So we
of the
will, in
sellers.
terms of Hybr integration, we have two-way sync between Dhisana and Hybr, and from Hybr you can basically trigger these campaigns and sync Hybr accounts, Hybr companies, Hybr users as leads and vice versa, and automatically onboard. If Dhisana has identified a potential and you want to offer them a trial, automatically onboard them to Hybr and then send emails and whatnot. So that's kind of the level of integration and automation we are looking at.
We're looking at
Uh,
it.
that leads to what is Hybr. A brief introduction or about Hybr. Basically, like I said, we built Hybr with the Microsoft CSP partners, global MSPs in mind, as a unified platform where pretty much all the business and customer lifecycle is handled in one platform, from customer onboarding to setting their pricing profiles, rate cards, integrating with remaining systems or your customers ERP systems to send the bill or invoice. And you can also connect with payment gateways to do the dunning or payment collection, and a lot of automation built in. You can customize it, to nth level. And we also support n level resellers, which is probably we are the only platform that does n level resellers, with each reseller able to mark up or discount the pricing from the previous offers. And we have, like I said, the first company, the tool to support usage based billing since 2014, 2015. We take real pride in
Yeah,
that.
I know you have so many enterprise customers, and it's been more than a decade where you have been working, and they have been using it in an enterprise complaint way, and
Yes.
it
So
has
we
been.
have two sets of customers: service providers and CSPs, as well as enterprise customers. So enterprise customers use Hybr for data center automation, cloudifying their data center, cost management, and service providers use it for as a marketplace storefront. And they also have a Hybr portal for their end users self-service, right? So this way, one of our customers, few we even have a testimonial from him. They saved 3 full days of work by deploying Hybrid every month. So every month he gets 3 days back by having Hybrid do the automation and self-service for their business. So it's a powerful platform.
Mhm.
Now we are going to make it even more
Right.
self-reliant and intelligent by bringing in Dhisana. Go ahead, Hari, if you want to.
No, the thing that I was saying basically, right? Already your automations was helping people so much. I'm super curious. Also, we'll go over some of those scenarios and how much more. Why 3 days? Why couldn't it be more? Basically, right? We can now
Right,
start
right.
being more greedy in terms of how much
Of course.
better we can do in terms of automation, basically, right? So yes, as you were saying, like an all-in-one growth platform which can bring these two systems together, and some of the demos will show. We'll highlight
Yeah,
them.
that's kind of, I was telling you, it's kind of my passion to kind of have um, all the aspects of the business. So one part that has been missing with Hybr is the prospecting, the marketing, continuous nurturing. That's what I even before I knew about that you are building Dhisana, I was doing some work on how can I enable MSPs and CSPs who are using Hybr to be able to constantly nurture, use every opportunity. Maybe you got a ticket about certain license assignment, but
Mm.
how can you use that as an opportunity to upsell, cross sell, right? So because people, businesses use Hybr to bring in multiple services, not just Microsoft CSP. They do have their own data centers, so they sell their infrastructure as a service using Hybr as a platform. But then how do you enable constant upselling and nurturing opportunity? So that's where this data comes into play now to address that gap, where this is Hari and me, we talk about, and this sounds like we are asking that you never stop selling, right?
Yes.
That is kind of the motto here. As a CSP business, MSP business, even any software as a service, you never stop selling, basically.
Yes. So every opportunity that is there for you, you help customer solve something. It is out a ticket. There's some new tech change. Everything could be a potential opportunity for selling, right? So how do you always be in that mode? And how you enable that for you is something that we are going to be looking
Does
at.
this mean I keep getting my customers are going to keep getting emails every hour, or what do you mean by this?
No, the goal is not to build a spam bot, basically, right? So
Right.
this is about helping you identify opportunities, help build relationships with those people, nurture them, and then sale will happen automatically, right? Like
Yeah.
when
So I think
those.
basically you never stop selling. What we mean by that is you never stop nurturing. You never stop helping the customer, right? Because
Yes.
um, many times once the sales teams bring the customer, give it to the deployment or implementation or onboarding team, they go behind the next set of leads and customers. And
Yes.
this in terms of enabling the customer ready to buy an offer kind of stops there. Now the onboarding team takes care of support and operations, right? And then
Yes.
after 3 months the seller comes and say, hey, I have a customer, can we do something? But by
Yes.
this time, in the 3 months, many things have changed in that customer's business, which
And
you, if you are not looking for the signals, then you will miss that. So similarly, what opportunities did typically a CSP business miss? And these are all very practical things that I see working with CSPs over the period, right? For example, uh, current example in this update from Microsoft, there is the whole update has 2-3 pages worth of critical updates. Hidden among this is one opportunity, which is Microsoft is offering 20% discount for Microsoft E3 Office 365 product, and that ends by December 2025. If your seller is aware of it and you have a signal from certain customers, now this becomes an opportunity. But how do we turn this as an opportunity, Hari, with Dhisana?
So, like we were discussing, Ravi, you send so much rich information to your customers every time, saying that, hey, this is what is an opportunity for you. Microsoft is giving this discount. There is this new capability, basically, right? Yes, but how do I care? Like, how does it matter for my customers? Is so hard to map. So that's where what we do in our system is bring in the information that you have. We have the information about customer and what you're selling to, right? We identify an opportunity from for your leads, have a email composed and ready for you to send to your customer, which you can review, basically, where you can say, oh, here's an opportunity, here's why it's relevant for you. You have everything ready with the information and your sellers, basically, as soon as they come up in the dashboard, they'll say, okay, here are opportunities, go send this email if you look, like it, right? You
So
can.
what you're saying is Dhisana was able to automatically kind of look for those updates, like for example in the winningscsp.com, and then
Yes.
it found that opportunity, and it has the context from Hybr that a customer is already using some of the Microsoft products, and then it ran or created an email to the customer.
Yeah, to the customer, and
To the customer.
it
Okay.
can send it automatically also, but a lot of times you might want to review them before sending, right? So it will put it in a place where there is a human in the loop approval, basically, right? So it
So the
detected an
seller
opportunity.
comes and looks at, hey, there are new opportunities that are bubbled up, and we are working on bubbling this within the Hybr portal as well. So whenever Dhisana finds these opportunities, so for this you don't have to do anything. Just click, enable Dhisana in Hybr, and then Dhisana will start looking, doing these things in the background, identify these opportunities automatically, because now Hybr has given it the context of what the customers are using, which services they are consuming, right? Now
Yes.
Dhisana is able to kind of put all this together and then bubble up these opportunities, and we will show this in Hybr, or you can come to Dhisana directly and then see this opportunity. It already created a email campaign for those customers, and as a seller, all you have to do is just review that. If it
Uh,
makes sense, click send. Now
uh,
you are also not only you are working on the opportunity, but you come across as a kind of an intelligent, connected, always updated seller to the customers, and as well as to your team.
Yes, exactly right. See, there is so much information there, right? Microsoft is giving some discount ending at some point of time. Your customers are also using E3 licenses and already they are in a place where they're ready to renew, basically, right?
Right.
Now, bringing in all that information and telling you what you need to tell to them would have already taken hours of time for you to go identify, or you might have
True.
missed it also, basically. Right? Now, it's
To
ready.
filter the list and come up to find out which customers should be catering to this email. But
Yes,
then most of the times what happens, I see, we just blast out a common email,
everyone.
one single formatted email to all the customers, right?
All the
Because we
customers,
don't
yeah.
want to be looked at as, hey, you didn't send me anything, right? So we can always
Yes.
claim that, hey, I sent you that
I
last
sent you
month.
a newsletter.
Yeah,
Yes.
I sent you the newsletter last month. So that's
Yes.
what is happening today. But how we are going to change that is basically you're not going to send a common email to
Email.
everybody
All the folks.
without
Yes.
context. You are only going to pick the customer and not you. That is where this hive mind, this Dhisana agent comes into play. I did not even tell about the specific things to look for. It itself connected
The
the
dots.
Microsoft update. It connected from the Hybr what customer is using, and then it found that, hey, for this product there is a discount in this update. I could connect these two and convert this to an opportunity, and it created that opportunity and the email. So that is going to be a powerful message. Say instead of just sending a common, generic newsletter or email
Email to them, right? And imagine doing it's not one time. You are doing it every month, basically,
every
right?
month. Yeah.
And these things are
So can
only
I
because
control how many emails or how many
yes,
messages that goes out?
Yes, all those things are control. The thing that we have is all these agents that we have are completely trainable, right? Like even for each customer you're sending, you will
Okay.
have your own guardrail, policies, voice, tone, what you want to do basically, right? So you can train this agent on, okay, every month there's an update that's coming. Basically, we have some out of the box templates, but you can take your agent, train them on what it should communicate, what it should do basically. So all these are completely customizable, trainable agents for your business and how
Right.
it should talk to your customer, right? And it doesn't stop there. Email sending is just the first step in nurturing, right? Once you test it out, you can also say how it should respond to customer queries. He says, "Hey, I'm interested.
Hmm.
Let's talk." Or what's the pricing? Like, why is how much will am I going to save? You can create playbooks where it is doing multi-turn conversation with the customer and then getting it to a place where they're interested in taking a meeting with you, basically, right? So all the way from
So
just
can it
getting
can
the
it also set up the meeting automatically by talking to the customers and then nurturing them and then set up a meeting?
Yes, it could go ahead and all the way find a free slot with them, talk to them, and get you to a stage where you're ready for a meeting, basically, right? So look at the amount of time we have saved.
Okay, that's
Being able
fantastic
to just
because to come up with that copyright or good email, somebody has to write it and then send the email, and then if the customer responds, then you respond back, and then somebody has to find a free slot. So
yes,
you all this various steps in that process, the agent automatically takes care of it.
yes, and it is not just about using AI, right? Like when people nowadays say they are using AI, imagine you are copy pasting all this information into ChatGPT and say, give me a
Right,
email. You're still
right,
doing it manually. Just having
right.
ChatGPT is not making it autonomous or AI,
Correct.
basically, right? So a lot of tools that are giving you are still where you're doing all this manual work, except that it is summarizing that into a thing, right? Here, when you say autonomous, it's really autonomous. It's doing that thing for you. You are not sitting there and copy pasting content into ChatGPT and getting a email doing
Yes.
for
I
the
think ChatGPT kind of makes us look smarter for a point in time.
time.
But
Yes.
then, as a seller, my boss asks, okay, Ravi, you sent out these many emails, and how many deals did you close? Because that's the outcome, right?
Outcome
Uh,
basically,
me do using ChatGPT and coming up with a smart looking email is just fun and good to have. But then
and you'll do
it
it
doesn't
one time,
stop.
right? When you do it 1,000 times every month for
Yeah,
1,000 emails, if you keep doing
yeah.
that, then your whole day is gone trying
Whole
to
day
do
is
that.
gone. Not
Yes.
only that, because there are still 10 additional
And
steps that I have to do before I can close the deal. So if I
exactly.
can have a team of people, in this case team of agents, who can help me with that, uh, you know what else I need, right? I can instruct these 10 different agents, treat them as like team members, and then tell each one, you do this, you do this, and then I can be the kind of the expert who is able
Manage
to get things done with the team.
team basically, right? So the thing that the interesting transition, as you said, is yes, getting to a meeting is just one part of it basically, right? Now once you have a meeting with the customer, the second thing I remember, you had a very interesting anecdote, right? Are you even ready for the meeting? You said, hey, connect, and suddenly without any preparation you landed into the meeting. Maybe you can go over that scenario
Yeah,
where
yeah. I mean, how many times, any of us, especially in MSP business, and even for us, the software business, we go, uh, when the renewal time comes, obviously everybody pays attention, and then you go and talk to the customer, you set up a meeting, and uh, you say that, hey, how are you doing? And then they know why you came. Right? They know why you are there. It's a renewal time. um, and but then the first thing the customer asked one of our sales team is, hey, do you know that there are three pending tickets for the last 2 months, and then we have been following up, do you know that? And then this guy was like, scratching his head. Um, but then in an alternate universe, if he said, before even he talked about any of this, if he went there and then told them, hey, I just want to check with you that you have two open tickets, and our team is working and I'm going to put pressure on them. Do you still have that problem? Did you get a workaround? How can I help you? If that salesperson goes there with that context in mind, then that would have been a different conversation. The customer would have still been a little bit pissed off about the open tickets, but at least he knows that you came with that context. How can Dhisana help there as well, Hari?
That is what we have seen across sellers, right? Like they're hopping between meetings, one meeting to next meeting, right? Now, once they go in, if you're going only with the motivation to sell and you don't haven't even understood what's happening with your customer, it's a huge risk, basically, right? Like, so here, what we do is we bring in your information about whom are you going to talk to, what are you going to talk about, but not just that, basically, right? We have this whole system, as I said. The hive mind equivalent, which keeps pulling in data from your Hybr, your transactions, your PSAs, your tickets actually that are there, right? So it has all of them auto generated and ready for you every day morning when you come in, basically, right? Like, imagine if you could have a complete meeting preparation document ready for you and everything in that, including, okay, what are the tickets, what are your talking points, what are the red flags and objections that are going to come up, basically, you need to be prepared for. What do you pitch? And even if a customer asks what happened to the tickets, already gathered information, you have everything ready in your hand. So
Right.
before meeting also you're prepared. As a part of the meeting also, if something quickly comes up, you can check with the system and say, okay, here is coming up, what's happening there, right? So you're not off guard or thrown off with the curveball, basically, that customer comes up with. You are prepared, you empathize with them, you know what's happening. Maybe you do a proactive follow-up also. Your agents can do that, help get all the data ready for you and make sure their tickets are getting priority, right?
Yeah, you want to come across as a kind of smart person or a person who has done their due diligence, not just hop onto a meeting. So
Definitely.
Dhisana can help prepare seller or any of us to go when we go to a meeting to come across as a person who has done their background, who did their homework and then came to the meeting. So that's fantastic.
And one of our mentors was there, right? Like the main thing you were saying was, as a seller, what we need as a key characteristics is empathy for your customers. You need to be
Very
able to empathize. It's not about a transactional process where you go sell, get some money, and come back, basically, right? To you are able to empathize where their pain points are, why their business is getting impacted because of these downtimes and tickets, etc. Right? Solve that, the deal will happen automatically in some ways, right? And these systems can help you achieve that, right? Give a much better customer service, transparency, and help them in that way. And that surprisingly indirectly helps you close deals and grow your business rather than looking at, okay, there is a renewal period, give me that. Right.
right. Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So this one, as I said, right? Okay, you got a meeting. We are all good, basically, right? You prepared for the meeting. The customer said, "Okay, let's go ahead." Right. The next thing that comes up is, no, you need to give it a handoff, right? All good, but when you want to expand the deal, there is lot more happens over there, especially in a complicated tech stack. So again, coming back to some very interesting scenario that you are describing recently about contract renewal with government cloud, right? I'd love to hear if you can share it with folks.
Yeah. So customers come to you with their business needs. You may be a seller, you may be a account manager, whomever the customer has a relationship to. Most of the times is the sales people who establish that relationship, not the technical people. But so the customer reaches out. It happened in real life, and that project is going on, so I'll explain about that. So this customer has been using Microsoft Office 365 with the public cloud, and they landed a, let's say, a large government contract. So now, to satisfy the requirements, they have to be compliant with that government contractual requirements. So let us say that that customer sent an email to the account manager, who's a seller, not a very technical person, or whatnot. So they sent an email asking, hey, we have this government thing going on. Do you have any experience working with government and compliance? Right. We want our systems to be upgraded to satisfy those compliance. The first thing that the seller, if unless if they have worked in a similar government situations, the first thing they're going to say is, government. No, I have worked with education, I have worked with retail, manufacturing. No, government, we don't have any experience. And that's the email response the seller might do. And then say, I can go check with my boss, or the other teams.
And get
And
back.
that would be the first response, typical first response, right? But then you know nevertheless, there is a Microsoft SKU for Gov Cloud. if the seller or the account manager knew about it, his response could have been a little bit more intelligent response. He doesn't need to know a lot about it, but he can just say, if he was able to connect the dots, he could have said, "Oh, that's fantastic! We are glad that you have this contract, and it's also uh, we have a nice government SKUs for similar situations, and Microsoft has a GovCloud support for this. And if you like to, I can put together a migration plan for you, and then and here is the attached sample migration plan." Imagine if the seller sent this response versus the other response, right? So this is where you convert a simple query into an opportunity that is most likely going to convert to a deal, basically.
True, right? Like that brief demo that I was also showing exactly as Ravi is, it triggers with a simple customer query, right? You are using 365. Can you tell me we are going to land a government contract? What does it there, right? So typically in the older age, what you do is now you go talk to your solution architect team who are there. It's weeks have passed even before you can give a coherent response to the customer and what clarifying questions you need to ask and how do you set it up basically, right? And post that also, imagine if you want to give a very quick high level plan on how do you migrate, what are the requirements basically, right? What the timelines that you're looking for to prepare a document like this, which is a migration guide for you, would have taken ages. And not just your sellers, right? Even your technical team which is supporting them, TSPs, are less. They are already stretched thin, basically. For each customer query, if you're going to involve them to get this running, it is going to be so costly, right? Now, what you can do with these agents is you upload your knowledge base, you upload how your system operates, you bring in whatever knowledge your TSPs have. They have already maybe worked with such projects before, basically, right? You bring in all of them. That history and context is there. So generating this first draft of what you need to reach out and ask instead of taking weeks, it's so much more faster. The only thing that you need to do is review, make sure they are in place, and then share it with the customer, right? When you look so responsive, customer thinks, yes, you know what you're doing, you know the business basically, right? Rather than saying, I'll
Yeah,
come back
it
and
builds the credibility. He would be like, "Oh, you are the guy I am looking for,"
yes,
rather than
exactly.
if you send that, "Oh, I don't know, I'm going to ask my boss or ask my team." Then that itself, he was looking, "Oh, are you the right person?" So
Do I trust you basically, right?
yeah,
Like if you've gone silent for months, then people are like, they lose the trust. They'll go take the contract to somebody else who can respond faster for you,
right.
right? So agility is going to be the key for any business, especially since age. You don't do it, somebody else is going to do it for them, basically, right? And it's a high risk and churn. So if you don't reimagine your business and catch up. 3 years from now, I think you'll be out of business in some ways, because it's not it's table stakes after some time where you have to
Very
be
true.
as responsive or better than the one who's
Yeah,
there.
I think with the AI, if every employer expects more from their employees nowadays, and it's the same, every business is going to expect more from any vendor or any service provider. In this day and age, if you go and say that, no, I need like 2 weeks to do this, that, no, they can get this in ChatGPT in an hour, in 5 minutes, right? So the reason they are coming to you is you can take care of this whole thing. They don't want this to be their headache. They want you to take care of it. But if you feel like it's a headache, then it's not going to be helpful.
Helpful,
So
right?
that's where I think the businesses are going towards.
Mm.
The expectations are high, and if you do not jump on, and leverage this agentic era, it will be really really hard, because your competitors are going to do it. They are going to outrun you. So we better be prepared, and that's what our kind of motto for our partners and customers. We want to enable you to be the first to take advantage of this. And I know what you're going to ask, Harry. Go ahead.
No, that is true, right? Like as we start, we are we have extremely good working relationships with a huge ecosystem of partners and Azure ecosystem, right? So we would
Right.
love for each one of them to be successful, and it's feasible, right? You just need to be proactive and take the first step towards going it. The next question that it brings up, Ravi, which again we have been discussing, is right. Yes, we have always been resellers with margins, trying to sell some software or some ISV vendor, basically, right?
Right.
It's a good business, but we were discussing there's a huge opportunity where you don't have to be just a reseller of a software, right? You can be the enabler for your customers' business for when as they also look at agentic era. So, can you share some of your roadmap and thoughts around that?
Sure. So most of the MSPs and CSPs, they just don't offer one service or one software. They kind of bring in a marketplace of services and software together for their end customers. But often these are all a third party software, or Microsoft, or Azure or whatnot. But what I have seen, I believe, working with the industry for so long, every single MSP has created so much domain knowledge about their customers' problems also, because they are the extended IT team, service provider of those businesses. As because of that, they have tremendous amount of experience and knowledge built around those business, how those businesses operate, what are their challenges, right? So we were thinking how the MSP businesses not only sell the other software and services, but how can they make their experience itself as a sellable thing, as a marketplace item,
Hmm.
in some sense, make it as a software that you
Hmm.
can offer to your end customers, right? Imagine one of our customers. Yeah, we can show this demo.
Hmm.
So this is the Hybr marketplace where we have created probably 15 20 different agents that can be published um, to Hybr marketplace, created in Dhisana, published to Hybr marketplace. And the experience and the domain knowledge of the CSP and MSP expertise, you can distill them into these intelligent workflows and offer them as a marketplace item. So imagine, for example, one of our customers, they cater to education, edtech industry, right? So they work with large institutions like universities and whatnot. So they know what are the business scenarios that could enable their end businesses to use an agent or to make it as an automated workflow. So you create an agent for that, publish it in the marketplace, and fine tune it for that, even for a specific customer. So marketplace items can be even published for a specific customer or for a domain. So you distill that, publish your own agents. So this is not an agent pre-existing. Dhisana enables you to create any agentic workflow, publish it as a marketplace item. Now, not only you are selling Microsoft Copilot or other agent systems, now you have your own agents to sell and make additional revenue. So that additional revenue, additional opportunity is the key here, right, Hari?
Yes. So there's a very interesting trend happening in the industry now, right? Like the era used to be of what was called as software as a service, right? Now the whole thing is flipping around. They're calling it as service as a software is where people are going to be paying you, basically, right? So you can no more go and say, here is a tool called CRM, you use it and do something, right? People are saying, I am giving you an agent which will help you do sales, right? Now you are enabling, helping a person get a service, and software is just a tool to enable that, actually, right? So now you know the domain, you know how to operate that, you can provide a service and run it at scale, which wouldn't have been feasible before, and that opens up a huge opportunity for you to grow your revenue, basically by building and selling your own service as agents rather than selling software as a service, which you traditionally do for very small margins, basically, right? And look at it, imagine if somebody is able to your customer is come able to actually look at a compliance agent, or is able to buy a real estate domain agent which works for them and save X $1,000 basically, which translates into a much higher margin and costs and scale for you, where you're helping them with their top line basically, right? And the scale, you can charge much higher, your value is much higher. So that's very compelling workflows that only you can do because you understand the domain technology, and we as a platform can help enable you do that. Everything else around your infrastructure, your building an agent.
Building.
You don't have to be an AI expert to do that. Come to us,
Yeah.
partner. You bring your domain. We help with everything else on the infra, and that's where what we would love to see is basically you never stop selling, you never stop growing, and we have some very limited time partners whom we are going to start onboarding across Hybr and Dhisana, where we'll pick very select CSPs who are forward looking, who want to reimagine the future. Work with us basically. We will have a 100K plus worth of cost which would have costed you to build these kind of systems and agents and deploy and grow your business. If you want to work with us, contact us. Apply before
Yeah,
December.
yeah. You guys, all the AI people, you don't come cheap. The real deep, AI people. So,
Yes, like
so
go
we
and try
need.
hiring a AI engineer, you'll know.
So can our customers get direct access to you, Hari, and your
Yeah,
co-founders? Is
by
that
me
what
and
you're
my
saying?
team basically, right? We come with that and plus the hyper also, right? Like we have
Right. Yeah. Of
deep
course. Yeah.
experts, so we will help you be successful, right? And it's very hard for you to go find this kind of an opportunity where you can work and be the front runner in this whole space. So if you're interested, contact us or reach out to me or Ravi. Would be do again. We are looking for three. Key partners before first, and we'll start our first cohort where we will enable them, and we'll share
Sure.
our success stories with these customers soon. So this was a very again high level talk on where things are headed in the industry, right? Where me and Ravi are very excited about this whole industry. Cloud, we started our journey when Azure was in very early stages. We saw it grow, and it created so much prosperity for a huge ecosystem of people who are working on it. At least our belief is this wave of changes that are going to be happening with AI is going to create a much bigger opportunity for the whole ecosystem of partners and builders compared to what cloud enabled for us actually. So very excited to see how we can work with the whole ecosystem again and supercharge the business.
True. Yeah, I think thanks again, Hari. It's a very. I hope our giant customers and whomever is watching this live as well as offline understand how powerful when we bring a really intelligent automation platform like Dhisana with the context of Hybr, vertical domain experience that you guys have. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity to make use of this and take it to the market, very soon. And we are looking for partners like you with the MSP and CSP domain expertise. We want to go, the reason, I think, if you go to the previous slide, we want to onboard at least three CSPs and MSPs, kind of handhold you guys, publish, do all this automation, the GTM workflows, sales workflows, the context from Hybr, helping run these workflows, intelligent agents in the backend. Not only that, and publish at least 5 to 10 agents that you can offer to your end customers, right? So that is even more powerful. You are now creating a new value, new channel for your end customer. So you are no longer just a reseller, you're no longer just a service provider. Now you are the partner of the businesses when they think about agentic AI. So that's what we want to take you to, and we are here to offer that, and we are going to help you be successful in that era. Me and Hari, we are committed for that, and we have teams standing by. So please, say yes, or reach out to us in the email or in the chat. Then we will get back to you, and we'll start the pilot December 1st, 2025. So you have just a very limited time to apply. Contact us, and then we'll start the working on the pilot, because by January we want you to be in that mode where you offering agents to your end customers. You leverage Dhisana and Hybr to automate and 10x your sales and revenue. Again,
Very
thanks,
true.
Hari, a lot.
Thanks, Ravi.
We can,
It was super
yeah, if we
exciting.
keep talking, we'll keep talking a lot, but I think we are on the top of the hour.
Yes. So,
Uh,
right time to end the conversation. And I think we have a very exciting journey ahead. And thanks again for taking time,
yeah.
Ravi. See you.
Thanks everyone for joining and everyone for listening later as well. Thank you. Take care.